beautiful couple we see here today. And when we gather together for something this special, it makes us really think about Jehovah, our God, where he provided marriage to us earthly creatures as something very special. Right? He didn't provide it for the angels, but for us, he did. He provided this provision for our happiness and our lasting benefit. Honestly, when he created Adam, it was obvious right away that there would be a need for someone else. There was a need for a helper, and actually, as the Bible says, a complement. Someone to make Adam complete. But also, it was there to fulfill God's commission to fill the earth and for them both to be able to subdue it. So that was Jehovah's plan. Well, let's see here in Genesis chapter 2, verse 21 and 22.
I can have that.
And actually read Jehovah's plan. That was Genesis chapter 2, verse 21 and 22. It says, "So Jehovah God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs and then closed up the flesh over its place. And Jehovah God built the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman." Now this is the important part. "And he brought her to the man." So when we read that last sentence there of what Jehovah actually did, he united them, and that was actually the first marriage performed in the Bible. And Jehovah did that. But what's interesting is what kind of uniting is this? Well, let's go down to Genesis chapter 2 once again in verse 24. It says there that this is why a man will leave his father and his mother, and he will stick to his wife, and they will become one flesh. So this uniting, or this marriage, was a permanent joining of them two. So marriage is built also on godly qualities like love and happiness, and we honor our God Jehovah when our marriage reflects those beautiful godly qualities. But now, for a Christian marriage to last, it takes more than just the husband and the wife to display outwardly those godly qualities. We need actually a third element, which is Jehovah God. He must be put first in our marriage and his advice. We must unitedly follow that advice, and it's just not one mate, but it's both of us. Marriage can be likened to a twofold cord where both mates are in support of each other and also Jehovah, and that is actually what makes our marriage once again complete. And also too, if we include Jehovah in our marriage, it will be strengthened and it'll be solid. How so? Well, his scriptural advice is better than any human marriage counselor or any self-help book. His advice in the Bible, it will help us out. He knows how we are formed. He knows how we're made physically and also our emotional makeup. He knows that if you both study the Bible together, if you pray together, if you go and worship together, not only will you keep drawing closer together as a couple, but you'll be cemented in union with the creator of marriage, the maker of marriage, Jehovah God. Now it's interesting, Jehovah actually took us both as husbands and wives and gave us specific roles that we need to fulfill. Now, for instance, Stephen, as the husband, Jehovah has appointed you as the spiritual head of the family. Now, Stephen, you might stop and think, this is 2020, right? Anna is an independent female. She can do what she wants. And actually, that's the view of many today in the world. But as a spiritual head, It's your God-given responsibility to use sound judgment based on the Bible, the very book in your hands, and take the lead in such a loving way. You'll provide for Anna in so many different ways. First, materially, spiritually, emotionally, and actually even get her out of the house after 7 o'clock at night for a little bit of recreation, right? It might be a challenge, but it's your God-given responsibility. So, Stephen, your role as the Christian head, it's so important. It is so important because you provide balance, not just for yourself, but for Anna too. Not just any kind of balance, but a Christian life balance. But now, Christian headship doesn't mean or give you the right to, say, be a jerk in the family. Right? It does not do that. We know that by our model, Jesus Christ. He set for us the best example. The best example. When it comes how we can treat one another. He did that by the Christian congregation. Let's say that was his bride. And how did he treat that? Well, let's find out here. If we read Ephesians 5, chapter 25, 28 and 29. Ephesians.
Whoops.
Ephesians 5, 28, or let's start with 25. 25, 28, and 29.
Ephesians 25.
On the top right.
It says, their husbands continue loving your wives, just as the Christ also loved the congregation and gave himself up for it. Now, if we drop down to 28 and 29, it says, in the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. A man who loves his wife loves himself. For no man ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cherishes it, just as the Christ does the congregation. So Jesus was actually willing to give up his life for his bride. He unselfishly put others first. He didn't yell, he didn't scream, but actually he was a joy, a refreshment, even in the hardest of times. So now, Stephen, as a Christian husband, you're to love your wife as your own body. Now, it wouldn't make sense for you to harm yourself physically or even verbally. So the same way we follow the counsel at Colossians 3, verse 19, do not be bitterly angry with your wives in word or in action. Rather, keep assigning her honor as your wife. And that's a beautiful statement. Give her honor. Now, we actually turn to Anna now as the wife, right? Anna, your God-given role, right? Your actual God-given role within your marriage, it actually is one of honor and one of dignity. Just like the first marriage so long ago, there was a helper, a complement to that husband, and you will be that exact same for Stephen. You will be his helper and his complement. How so? Well, it's outlined for us in the Bible, once again at Ephesians 5,
Oh, I have to close.
22 through 24. Ephesians 5, 22 through 24. It says there, let wives be in subjection to their husbands as to the Lord, because a husband is head of his wife, just as the Christ is the head of the congregation, he being a savior of this body. In verse 24, in fact, as the congregation is in subjection to the Christ, wives should also be in their husbands in everything. So by you, Anna, recognizing that headship principle that we just talked about in those verses, your marriage, it will be a success. And it will be one of happiness. Because honestly, without leadership, there's just chaos. And that is not how Jehovah wants our marriages to be. That's why that arrangement is put in place. Now, another way that you can complement your husband is found at Ephesians 5:33. So just a few more verses down. Ephesians 5, verse 33. It says there, Nevertheless, each one of you must love his wife as he does himself. On the other hand, the wife should have deep respect for her husband. So by showing deep respect, you work together in unison, not in competition with one another, right? You don't have two captains driving the ship. You just have one. And you also have a complement, showing deep respect. So now when Stephen goofs up, which he will, in all honesty, Anna, this is the time for you to shine. Be the beautiful wife that we all know that you will be. This is the time for you to be understanding, to show kindness, and work hard together to make sure his decisions that he's come up with will once again be a success. So now, Stephen and Anna, this is day one, right? The dating is over. Chaperones are gone. This is day one. Now, we talked about your individual roles, but now it does not mean anything. Those specific roles, it doesn't mean anything if you do not have deep love for each other. Colossians 3:14 puts it very nicely where it says, you need to clothe yourself with that deep love. It actually goes a little further. It says, love is the perfect bond of union. And now we know today, in the world that we live in, there is nothing perfect. Nothing perfect. But the Bible makes a solid statement that we still can have perfection in this world today. It's by the love that we have for each other. That love is going to bond you guys forever. How beautiful, how perfect is that? So we want to look for ways to show love for each other each and every day. Now, granted, you might have Don and Millie's on the table, right? You might have Cops fired up on Netflix. You might have that bath running and ready to go. And that might sound like the perfect evening. And honestly, it probably is. But honestly, you need to set aside time for each other, talk to each other, ask about how your day is going. Was it good? Was it bad? Make it a habit to show kindness in even the smallest things of each day. Tender words or acts of affection, they go so far within your marriage. Because honestly, you guys, when you stop and look each other and you start celebrating your 1 millionth anniversary years from now, you'll ask each other, how do we make it? How do we even get here? Well, there's a Bible verse that tells you how. Let's look at one last verse. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It says, our love, it bared all things, it believed in all things, it hoped in all things, and our love, it endured all things. How do we make it this far? It's because our love never failed. Not for 1,000,000 years. Isn't that a beautiful thought? So with that in mind, we'll say our vows.
Yes.
Okay. So now, do you, Edgar Stephen Gomez, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Anna Christine Bradley to be your wedded wife, to love and to cherish in accordance with the divine law as outlined in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands for as long as you both may live?
I do.
Perfect. All right. So now, do you, Anna Christine Bradley, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Edgar Stephen Gomez to be your wedded husband, to love and to cherish and deeply respect in accordance with the divine law as outlined in the Holy Scriptures for Christian wives for as long as you both may live?
I do.
Excellent. Now we'll go with the vows. Stephen, we'll start with you. Repeat after me. We'll shorten it up. Let's get these vows done. Okay. So, I, Edgar Stephen Gomez, take you, Anna Christine Bradley, to be my wedded wife.
I, Edgar Stephen Gomez, take you, Anna Christine Bradley, to be my lawful wedded wife.
To love and to cherish in accordance with the divine law.
To love and to cherish in accordance with the divine law.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands.
As set forth in the divine scriptures, set for husbands.
Okay. Let's go one more time. So, as set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands.
Perfect. For as long as both shall live together on earth.
For as both shall live. What?
For as long as we both shall live together on earth.
For as both.
For as long.
It's a tongue twister.
It is. For as long.
For as long.
As we both.
As we both.
Shall live together on earth.
Shall live together on earth.
According to God's marital arrangement.
According to God's marital arrangement.
Excellent.
Nailed it.
Very good. Very good. Okay, Anna. So I, Anna Christine Bradley, take you, Edgar Stephen Gomez, to be my wedded husband.
I, Anna Christine Bradley, take you, Edgar Stephen Gomez, to be my wedded husband.
To love and to cherish and deeply respect.
To love and to cherish and deeply respect.
In accordance with the divine law.
In accordance with the divine law.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian wives.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian wives.
See?
For as long as we both shall live together on earth.
For as long as we both shall live together on earth.
According to God's marital arrangement.
According to God's marital arrangement.
Very nice.
Yep.
So now I understand there's rings to be exchanged.
Thank you.
I'll take yours and you take mine.
Now as they place these rings on each
You gonna
other's
place mine?
fingers, this ring or rings is an outward and visible sign
You put on this.
signifying unto all the
Yes.
uniting of this man and this woman in the bonds of matrimony.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
Okay, very nice. So, for as much as Edgar Stephen Gomez and Anna Christine Bradley have covenanted before Jehovah God and these witnesses to accept each other in wedlock, I, as an ordained minister, and by the authority conferred upon me by the Holy Scriptures in the state of Nebraska, pronounce that they are husband and wife together. What God has yoked together, let no man put apart. So now it is my happy pleasure to introduce to this marriage gathering brother and sister Stephen and Anna Gomez. You may now kiss the bride.